Just don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
And then you come back to, what did I do? Why did I spend so much? Now I gotta pay it all back. And reality hits. It hits different, like they say.
Alright y'all, so I'm back today with another video about some money mistakes that I've made thus far in my 20s. I really find these videos kind of interesting because a lot of times we can get caught up in that we need to be perfect and that we can't make any mistakes at all. So I really think it's important for us to talk about setbacks so that we can learn and grow from each other. I didn't consider taking a gap year after my undergraduate because I thought that if I didn't go straight through, that I was never gonna go to graduate school. So that fear of my own inability to follow through is what catapulted me. I still feel okay with the decision that I ultimately made, but I think it's really important to take that time off if you can to learn a little bit more about what your interests are and what you want to do next. And this really does tie into money and personal finance and debt and all that, because as a lot of us know, going to college can cost a lot of money. So a lot of us have to take out loans. So it's really important to try to be really cognizant of what it is you exactly want to do so that you can know that the money that you're taking out is actually going to serve a purpose. So I would just say, if you're anything like me, or if you don't have a strong, definite thing pulling you towards something, definitely take the time to kind of consider maybe why that is. Also gives you time to maybe reach out to people who are in the career path that you want, or doing the thing that you want to do, and maybe seeing how they got there, because a lot of times we think we know what we need to do, what experience, what level of education we need for a career path, and then we get in the field and we realize that there's a lot of ways to get involved in whatever it is that we want to do. So just something to think about. I know it's not for everybody, and I know not everybody takes the college path. So the next one would be comparing myself to others. I think we're all guilty of this, especially people in their 20s. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of, I should have this, I should have bought that by now, I should have acquired these things. And so don't let that get you to a point where you end up making bad money decisions, especially when it comes to your debt or just your way of life. A lot of times people tend to look at others' timelines or maybe anything on social media, and we think we have an idea of what their life is like, and they get to do all these fancy things, say they're going on fancy trips, and it's easy to kind of make assumptions about how they got there and how did they get to do it but you can't do it. You'll start to tell yourself, well, screw paying the bills or paying your debt off, I need to just go live a little. So it's just about finding balance. I'm not saying that you shouldn't travel and have fun, but don't let the primary motivation behind those decisions be because you're comparing yourself to other people, because you don't know what it took for them to get there. So it's just important to think of that before you just jump and buy like a $10,000 ticket somewhere to live your best life, because there's ways to live your best life and have your fun in your backyard. So just something to think about, or travel and just try to find a way to travel on a budget. Buying too much fast fashion. So I still kind of partake in this, I'm not gonna lie, but I do try to think about it a little bit more when I do go shopping. Like, how long is this gonna last me? What's the quality like? Is it going to be something that I'm gonna wear continuously or at least regularly before I just buy anything? And also maybe not being so on trend, because as we know, trends are ever evolving and ever changing. So maybe finding key pieces that make sense to you and your style and working your way from there. And then obviously we do want to think about the environment, so don't just buy things just to buy them, or don't buy doubles, triples of things, because I know I have that bad habit. Like, I'll be honest, like sometimes I just don't want to go through my clothes and I just want to get the item really quick, so I'll just go purchase it again, whether it be like a blank t-shirt or something like that. So just be better, really to each his own. It's your decision at the end of the day. But if you're looking to make better money conscious decisions, it's important to think about where you're spending your money, how you're spending your money, and what you're spending your money on. The next one would be not saving earlier. I really wish that I would have done that earlier, because I think that I would be in a different situation now, because I didn't really start my career until I was about 25 years old. I started saving with the company for the 401k. I contributed all that, but I didn't really have a personal savings or emergency fund for a couple of years, because I was so worried about my debt, paying that off. And then it wasn't until I came upon Dave Ramsey and other people who are, the debt guru people, that it's important to have an emergency fund. So I wish I would have done that earlier, because then I would have now I could have been using this time to contribute or to invest or things like that. So just something to think about. Try saving as soon as you possibly can, whether it be through your company or just on your own. That way you can get a head start and not be late to the game. Now, I do want to put this little reminder. It's never too late to start. You can start tomorrow, you can start later on in life, you can start when you're older, when you're younger, but just start. It's important to know where you're at with your money and what your plan is for your future. Or not considering making a budget for vacations, because if you're anything like me, you will kind of suck at having willpower when you're out. I want to say like my first trip was probably to Hawaii, and it definitely was something. Looking back, I'm grateful for the trip, but I wish I would have had enough forethought to think about, oh, you need to set aside money for cash or for food, things like that, and have a stern budget. Like don't be flimsy on it, because I think that's what kind of happened to me. And of course I ended up accruing a little bit of debt over it, but it was a fun time and I wouldn't take it back. But it's just something to think about. I'm a lot better at it now, but when I was younger, I really, like, money burned a hole in my pocket. That's what my dad would always say. So just make a budget if you can, because it'll make life easier when you're out and about, and you're not going to be so tempted to just swipe your card everywhere you go on things that you really don't need just because you're on vacation and you're feeling good.
And then you come back to, what did I do? Why did I spend so much? Now I gotta pay it all back. And reality hits. It hits different, like they say. Just it's not the same. So it's something to think about.
Making late credit card payments. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because I did that once. I did it, like, I want to say a couple years ago. I was probably in undergraduate or coming out of undergraduate, and I was really not keeping an eye on my credit cards, and I really was just like a broke college student, and I made a late payment, and I didn't think it was going to have that big of an impact on my credit score, but it did. So it's just really important to think about these kind of things. Don't put it off. Don't think that it's just something like it's whatever, because it really isn't. It can have a lasting impact. Like it messes with your score for several years. So just avoid that at all costs. Pay yourself on time, make a schedule, put a reminder in your calendar, whatever you need to do. And so yeah, those are just some of the mistakes that I've made in my little short period of life here on earth. Hopefully you guys can let me know if any of these things resonated with you, or if you have any other mistakes that you've made. If you want me to talk about anything more that I discussed in this video, please let me know that as well. And yeah, without further ado, here are some funny bloopers. I can't talk. Another video. I need to get my energy up. Wow, that was a lot of throughs. So yeah. And second, jeez. Okay guys, so I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about some money mistakes that Chris.